Oh,
well,
okay.
I mean,
go right
if
into
it's
it?
for everyone's, if it's for everyone's show,
Gotcha.
I don't want to
we're
say,
just-
hey, we're going to do a rapid fire question and blah, 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 because then people will be like, who is this guy talking on Jackie's show? Why is he talking about this? You know, because we could just
eat a bit and then do our own intros later. I forgot to hit record.
All right.
See, is everybody recording? It's a decent question.
Yes, I'm recording.
Good.
All right,
That
so I'll
was
just
funny
say, like,
if
hey,
we
it's
all got
Travis.
together, we all forgot to record. Oh, hilarious.
Hey, did you guys
How many
record? No, I
podcasts does
didn't
it take
record.
to screw in a light bulb?
Welcome to the Budget Minded Traveler Podcast, your source for the tips and tactics that will inspire and equip you to travel the world. And the best part? It won't break your bank. And now, the Budget Minded Traveler herself and your host, Jackie LaLanen.
Hey guys, this is Jackie, and this is the Budget Minded Traveler podcast. And if you couldn't tell by that little teaser there, we have not one, but a few guests on the show today. This episode and the next one are kind of special bonus episodes because I teamed up with 3 other travel podcasters to do some roundtable discussions on topics and questions that we thought would be relevant and at least fun or entertaining to talk about. And I think we did a pretty good job with that, but I'll let you be the judge of that. For this episode, which is actually being published across all 4 of our podcasts, we all brought a couple questions to the table and took turns answering them in an attempted rapid fire kind of style. So the voices that you'll hear today belong to Jason Moore from Zero to Travel podcast and Travis Sherry from Extra Pack of Peanuts podcast. If you haven't heard of those guys or listened to their shows yet, definitely check them out. And there is one more who seems to be a regular guest on the show these days. Nathaniel Boyle from the Daily Travel podcast is also joining us. And on that note, his podcast just got a little makeover and is now called The Travelers. And he has just officially launched his new community called Holocene. So check those out at holocene.io or just go to the show notes page at thebudgetmindedtraveler.com/61 to find all of these guys' sites listed there. Couple quick housekeeping notes about this. We recorded this when I was in Italy. Jason was in Norway, and Nathaniel and Travis are both in the States. So there are a few audio glitches, but I think you guys are all sort of accustomed to those by now. So thank you so much for your understanding and patience with me there. Also, we discuss a lot of things in this episode, and I have notes from all of it on my site at thebudgetmindedtraveler.com/61 on the show notes page. So you can jump over there to see any of the products that we mentioned by name. You don't need to take notes. If you're running or driving or something, please just continue what you're doing and check the show notes later. It's all there. And if you're not doing anything, grab coffee and just come hang out with us for a while. I really hope you enjoy what we have to say. All right, here we go.
We're so grateful to Osprey Packs for partnering with us and supporting the podcast, so please stay tuned for more about them later on. I have an opportunity for you to join me in real life for some real travel. Here's the latest Jump Adventures update. We are going to Greece for a bike and boat island hopping adventure this May 9th to 16th, 2025, and we still have space left. Check out jumpadventures.com to learn more and book now. We're going to have a yacht all to ourselves with ensuite cabins on board, so you get to sleep in the same bed every night as we start in Athens and make our way west toward the island of Corfu. You'll have your own bike for the week, e-bike if you want one, for cycling the islands as we go, in between meals crafted by our private chef on board, and all the relaxing you want to do on the top deck under the Mediterranean sun. These bike and boat adventures are our most carefree and relaxed trips. All you have to do is say yes and show up, and there's still space. Head over to jumpadventures.com to grab your spot now, and we'll see you there.
All right. Hey, everyone. It's Travis here. And my first question I want to ask you guys is, what is the first place that comes to mind? I want your gut reaction here. When I say, if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would it be?
That's a brilliant question. I'm going to jump in. This is Jackie.
That's not a gut reaction, folks. Hurry up. Come on.
You know what's awesome about this? My first reaction, or my gut reaction to that always, is Italy. And you know what? I'm here. Which is crazy because nobody has asked me that while I've actually been here. It's like my favorite country. It's just there's something that happens to me when I arrive in Italy, and it's like the sun is shining, even if it's not, and the food is delicious and everything. I love the culture, and it all kind of embraces me. And I take that feeling with me even when I leave. And so for me, I love to feel that. And so it's always like, oh, let's go be in Italy. That's where I would want to be. But I'm here, which is crazy. Even better.
That is crazy.
A rare
especially because
occurrence to be
there. I mean, that puts you in the moment, right? That was going to be my answer as well, which is I knew Jackie was going to answer that, so I let her jump in. But it's the culture, it's the style of the people, it's the food, it's the landscape, it's the medieval hill towns. I spent 2 weeks just in Orvieto writing. That's just in between. It's north of Rome in Umbria. It's this gorgeous old medieval village, walled in, church in the center, little cafes, side streets. It's a little touristy, but if you stay there and you hit up the back streets and just enjoy your time there, it can be so inspiring just to be amidst that landscape with wine and pasta every night. And Italy, it does a very similar thing to what Jackie just said.
This is Jason here, and I guess I am in Norway right now, and this is my new home country, so no offense to it, but it's freaking cold here, you guys. So I just immediately thought of a warm beach somewhere, and I've spent a lot of time in Central America, and I love the beaches there, and the thing I love about them is, well, you guys know, I mean, if you're on a beach in California or something like that, it's awesome, but then the water's super cold, right? If you're on a Central American beach, you get in the water, it's like warm. You don't need to wear a wetsuit or anything. So someplace with a beach with warm water, and ideally, since I go anywhere, I guess I'll go somewhere where I haven't been, and I haven't been to Indonesia. So I think maybe I will telepathically transport myself somewhere to Indonesia. You guys can let me know what beach I should go to if you've been there.
All right, I'm going to stay in the same vein then, Jason, and I'm going to go with Thailand. And I know there's some people on here who have mixed feelings about Thailand. They just read their latest post. And but Thailand for me is it's just the easiest place to travel when I think of somewhere that's more exotic. And so we've been back there at least 5 different times. And I love the people. I love the food. I love how cheap it is. So that's always a benefit when you can kind of go there and live like a king or queen and not have to spend a lot of money. One of the reasons I like Italy as well, if you're talking about Western Europe, is that it is a little cheaper than some other places. But yeah, I just love Thailand. I love that you can wake up every morning and not have any idea what you're going to do, but then you just do whatever it is that you want to do. So you want to go rent a motorbike? All right, maybe you already have one, but if you don't, it's like $3, $5, get some gas, drive up to the waterfalls. I love Chiang Mai and I love the beaches, so I won't pick one area, but if you put me down in Thailand, I'd be very happy right now.
I want to revise my answer because I'm listening to kind of what you guys are saying and I'm pulling out. And Italy for me it's my favorite country. It's the only place I've been to 3 times. So I stand by that answer, but I left the big part of my heart in New Zealand and I miss it. And everything I'm hearing, you, Travis, just sort of like triggered that because it's this idea that you could wake up and you could do anything. I mean, you could just spend your day sitting by a lake and it's gorgeous and just watch people pass by, or you can go skydiving and mountain climbing, or anything you want is right there in New Zealand. And it's so much fun and it's affordable. It's all those things. So
I love that already. We're having people change your answer. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Because it is a hard question, right? Like, what's the one thing? I actually wanted to say Antarctica, but then I was like, well, I don't really want to be cold, but that'd be pretty cool to be dropped into right now. Like, if I'm going to just teleport you there right now, that'd be a bit of a culture shock. It might be fun as well.
And
if we're talking about teleportation, I would choose that too because it would save on the $10,000 ticket that it costs.
Brilliant answer. And you might as well go in the middle of winter because it's always the middle of winter in Antarctica. No.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
Which, actually, you know what I just learned? I learned that Antarctica gets about 2 inches of snow a year. That's it.
Wow.
It has the least precipitation of any continent.
Except it stays year round.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I have with it.
That sounds almost impossible, but that's crazy.
Isn't it?
I never.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess it just never. Well, unfortunately, it does melt now, but that
came up around
if you
the
learned it.
over the weekend.
I was going to say, if you learned it on the internet, it had to be true, or else I would. If it's just cranium, I'm not sure I believe. But the internet, cranium for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna break in here and move to the next question since we're about to go down a rabbit hole there. Okay, my first question is going to be, what is your favorite travel app?
Favorite travel app?
TripIt.
I'm gonna have to go with, and this sounds very practical and probably annoyingly practical, but the currency exchange app.
Yes, I love that one.
It's XE, I think,
So
is
boring.
the where XE. I know it's so,
XE currency.
ridiculous, right?
Such
XE
a boring
currency,
answer.
yeah.
so good.
Not everybody's good at math, Nathaniel. Come on.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
it
absolutely
gets
right.
the job done. You know, hey, I took
It's-
calculus in
it's
high
a
school.
great-
I didn't. I am terrible at math. I love that app.
I think I lost my touch though. Yeah, no, I don't know. Something about that app it's probably gets used the most. And G, which is another like conversion app, because I'm here in Norway. I'm trying to make food and everything's in deciliters, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't even know how to make a recipe on the back of a box. So trying to figure everything out here. And G-Unit's like a conversion app that basically just converts, miles to kilometers and, basically anything and everything you want to convert. So yeah, a little boring, but totally practical. Those are mine.
My only issue with XZ, though, doesn't it only allow you to have like 10 currencies on there at once?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, see.
I think so.
I'm
I mean, are
always
you
annoyed
really
by
like
that 'cause-
in 10 countries
Yes.
at once?
No, but
Yeah,
I just
I mean,
love currencies. So whenever I put it in, I just want to check like every place I've ever been in the world and if it went down or up. And it only allows me 10, and I just get frustrated because then I have to delete
That's just taking
something.
it
So
that's taking it to another level of nerdery, Travis.
Nerdery.
Well, no. Come on, that's what I'm on the show here for, guys. But the currency app, or the converter app, I love the just standard one. This is my answer. I'm just cutting into Jay's answer. That currency, or the converter app, does all types of currencies, and it also does all the stuff that you're talking about, Jay, with volume and distance and all that kind of stuff. It's just called Converter Plus. I don't know. Check it out. You can have more than 10 currencies.
I don't use any of these apps, and it's not that I don't think that they're not valuable, and I certainly don't geek out over currencies. So if I did, I would probably love a dashboard in front of that. But I use Google for all of that. Like if you just Google like 1 USD to EUR, it knows what that means and it converts it. And so you can do any amount, and you can just Google that real quick. And doing that saves the space on my phone. So that's why I
However,
use those apps.
Nathaniel, I have a rebuttal to that.
Please.
The currency apps work offline as long as they are updated with the right currency when you are online. The XE currency app, for example, can work when you're standing in front of an ATM in a third world country without any service. And so can't trust Google at that point.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's a great rebuttal.
Did you have another one though?
Yeah, Nathaniel, I want to hear your app.
Because I know you said TripIt and I want to hear about it.
I know. I've got two. The one that's obvious is Google Maps. And the obvious reason for Google Maps is because if you download the map when you're there, your dot remains even when you're offline. So for me, I use Google Maps more than any other app while I'm traveling, and I can't deny it. TripIt for me is my favorite easily, because it automatically aggregates all of your travel plans within a system. It will provide you with your flight details, flight status updates, accommodation directions. It basically does all of your travel itineraries, which I don't know about you guys, but I remember when I first started traveling, I used to print everything out, and then I'd have like a little folder, and I put the folder in my bag. And I don't know if I would ever access it. I would have it on hand. Mm-hmm. And TripIt got rid of that folder out of my bag, and I never liked having that thing. And it's so automatic, and it sends you updates, push notifications and stuff. For me, that's like the ultimate stress reliever. Oh, and you can track, like TripIt Pro, you can track particular seats on airplanes. So if you have an aisle seat, or you're in the middle of the plane and you want a window seat, you can key in the window, and if one becomes available on that jet, on that aircraft, it will notify you so that you can take steps to get the right seat. I mean, that's brilliant.
That's great, Nathaniel. I always try to use TripIt, and I don't like it for some reason though. Like I don't think I understand it well enough, And I think that's kind of the reason I liked hearing your answer with TripIt is because I think that's a standard answer to the question, like, what's your favorite travel app? Because I hear it from a lot of people. Yep. So I finally downloaded it. I put my stuff in. It kind of worked for my last trip, but I didn't really pay attention to it. I think it's more user error than anything else. And that's why I never have a good answer for this question because I don't use any travel apps. I'm like the world's worst traveler, other than Google Maps. That was going to be my go-to, and then you took that. So I'm with you, though. Google Maps is awesome in any country. No worries, man. It's the only one I use in any country, and I love that the dot follows you even when you're offline. And, you know, it's invaluable as a GPS whenever you rent a car or anything like that. You know, I don't even remember what we did without Google Maps. So
without
Google
the blue dot.
I do.
I'd go to AAA and I would get those road maps before I left, just in case I had a car.
Yeah, you roll up.
And those would go in that
tourist
folder I was
board.
talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You get the free maps, and you just, you know, do it old school way, and then you look around if you get lost. And this actually happened to me recently on a trip where I didn't have Google Maps thing, and I was totally lost, and I had all my stuff with me, and I was getting a little frustrated, but then I had to interact with actual people, and it was freaking cool because I had to go to like 3 or 4 places till somebody gave me good directions. But in the meantime, you know, you pop into a place, I'm like, oh, well, I'm here. I might as well get an ice cream cone, chat this person up, and you end up like talking to 3 or 4 people that you wouldn't have before. So I think there's some other benefits there without the apps, but.
Okay, so I didn't actually get to answer this one yet, and I asked it. So my turn. I'm going to jump in because we could talk about this all day. I know that we can. Let's see. I was definitely going to go to TripIt and XE. Those are 2 of my favorites. But since you took them, I'm going to go a different route. I am loving Snapchat. So I mean, it's not necessarily a utility for travel, but I love it. I think it's so much fun to not only to share what I'm doing with people, but there are specific people that I follow on Snapchat that I watch their snaps like every day. And it only takes me a minute to catch up on people. You know, it's like almost like a news feed. It's like a new way to get news, just seeing where different people are around the world. I think it's so much fun. Are you guys on Snapchat? I know Nathaniel is.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
It's so fun. Anyway, so Snapchat, and then the other one that is my absolute favorite app is Voxer, and that is, I think WhatsApp is actually very convenient for travel because nearly everyone has it. And so with the phone number from anywhere, you can suddenly be texting with any other person with a phone number, you know, so you can, it transcends data plans and all of that. It's like, it doesn't matter who your carrier is or what your plan is because you can do it on Wi-Fi or whatever. You can text with people, so that's great. But Voxer is my favorite communication app because you can walkie-talkie with people. And it doesn't have to be real time. So even across time zones, you can send audio messages to each other. And I know that other apps are doing this now, but I'm still with Voxer. They were the first ones that I downloaded that had the capability before you could do it in text and all that. So those are going to be my go-tos for that.
Love it. Leaning on communication.
Yeah.
We are probably underrating when we're thinking so logistically, but just being able to stay in touch and connect with people and be inspired by where they are and what they're doing. Snapchat's as much a travel app as Instagram is, with all of its geolocation tags and your ability to search places by image, kind of like Trover. Trover.com is another one of those. So I like those answers.
Also, I'm traveling Jackie on Snapchat in case you guys want to check out what I'm doing in Italy.
Can I change my answer to Skype?
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, guys. One last
You can
thing.
do it. You can do anything you want on this podcast, man. You can do whatever you want, Jay.
I'm changing my answer to Skype. I'm also going to ask the next question, which is a little bit, I want to get a little controversial here, if that's okay with you all. Because we're all Americans here, and I have to ask you, as Americans, does it bother you when people wear the Canadian flag on their backpack?
No, I love Canadians.
It's not
No,
it's
I
not
think
about
Jason-
being anti-Canadian.
Jason, do you
Let's get
mean
some
when
context.
Americans wear the Canadian flag on their backpack? When
I kind of mean when anybody
right?
does, whatever nationality, because to put some context into this, it's a thing you can see quite commonly when you're traveling around, and I feel like I'll answer first, I guess, since I'm kind of putting the context here. Anyway, it can be a thing that is used not for national pride necessarily, but just to show you're not American. You know what I mean? Because
That's a
like
thing.
Americans
That's
get
a thing.
rap over ball. That's like a thing. Yeah, that's like a travel thing that happens. And people definitely like rock the Canadian flag. And even if they're not Canadian, like Nathaniel mentioned, or even Canadians themselves. I mean, like, I don't mind nationality. I'm not like don't be proud of where you're from, but it seems like it's kind of like just to say, hey, we're not American, so leave us alone type of thing. I don't know if it's a safety thing or what. So I get it, but also I got to be honest, it annoys me a little.
Well, yeah, if you want the controversial answer, yes, pisses me off. And I think, but here's the thing, Jay. I don't see it happen that often. I think when I was traveling like 10 years ago, or maybe I'm just not as aware of it. I saw it happen more often, and I kind of would get upset. Like, oh, well, especially if American, well, I won't say Americans, because I've had a Canadian get upset with me for saying I'm an American. I'm from the United States. When people from the United States would put that on their backpack, I got a little frustrated because I'm like, listen, and they say it was for safety, or they didn't want people to think they're American or from the States because, people didn't like people from the States and other countries. And I was like, well, why don't you just let your actions speak for themselves? Like, I can understand, that was more my thought was like, well, why not meet these people? And, I don't think they're going to, I've never had anyone come up to me and be like, oh, you're from the United States, like, and shut me down because they didn't like the country. Most of the time, nowadays, people would be just yell Obama to me wherever you are in the country or wherever you are in the world, and they loved it. So I used to get really annoyed with it. I don't see it as much anymore. I don't know if that's just
true.
Me not being aware of it, or if it's just something that isn't as common anymore. But
I think it's
don't know.
we love,
if
we
you're
love
Canadian.
Canadians.
I got to say this because I think that any Canadian listening is probably thinking this, and it's that Canadians get mistaken for Americans all over the place, all the time. So while I think that wearing a flag on your backpack might be saying I'm not American, it's not necessarily because they have a problem with Americans or they believe that Americans are less popular than Canadians around the world, true or not. It's simply that they're not from the United States, and they want that to be clear because it gets annoying over and over again when you're a Canadian on the road and someone's like, oh, you're American. No, I'm Canadian. And don't just assume that I'm not, that I'm American because of my accent.
And be proud of that. Yeah.
That's a good point. For sure.
I have something to piggyback on that. If there was a way that I could separate myself as a Montanan from Hannah Montana, I would. And so maybe it's as simple as that. It's like people shouting Obama at you, which that's all that they know. That's what they know of the United States. It's like, oh, I'm from Montana. Oh, San Francisco? Yeah. You say one thing and people go to what they know. And so I'm sure that it's just something similar to that. And I agree that we should let our actions speak for us because, there are a lot of people out there that are making a really good name for the U.S. By traveling. And I know that's what we all believe in. And so I think, let's change their opinions and then leave them with something else to be thinking about.
I found when I was traveling two interesting things about being American on the road. One was that I actually found I was treated better at times because I was American. In Japan, I got VIP escorted through the airport as soon as I pulled out my passport. It was the strangest thing. I can't explain it, but the guy was like forever thankful. In Paris, I was led 13 blocks out of my way when I was lost in the city. 13 blocks back to my hotel. And when I thanked the woman, she said, we're from Normandy and we don't forget what Americans did for us. Forever ago. It was this mind-blowing experience.
That's awesome.
And when I got home from taking a year off to be on the road, I think it's easy to get tired of where you're from. But when I got home, I was so overwhelmingly thankful to be American. Probably because I was fond and I missed a lot of the things that were who I was and what I was used to. But there's a lot that we do, I think, the best. And I love that about my country, whether that's craft beer or
steak.
Like bathrooms around the world are completely different, right? I like American bathrooms. I'm not gonna lie. Like showers in America are the best. There's a lot that we do really well. And
good water pressure.
It's such a critical thing. No, but seriously, there's a lot that we do really well, and it's easy to forget that when you're in the routine.
Yeah, and to clarify my answer, I think it's more that when Americans put Canadian flags on their backpack versus Canadians putting Canadian flags. I have no issue with that, obviously. But
I think I was just getting at the people who do it just to distinguish themselves as not like, hey, this is not me. I don't know. There are a lot of questions around, but I'm glad. I think we like profiled many people within that. So that was interesting.
Interesting question.
Don't they know that they have the best showers in the world? What are they thinking? Put that American flag on your backpack.
I don't know what Canadian showers are like. I bet they're pretty good though. Let's go find out.
All right, Nathan, you got the next question.
I'm up. You're right. I forgot the order here. All right, guys. We're gonna go real simple, I guess. What's your favorite piece of? And I'm gonna ask that nobody say the iPhone. What is your favorite piece of travel gear that you take everywhere? That's in your backpack, maybe in your pocket, something. But other than a smartphone.
Okay, I'll start since there's crickets. I have just discovered this. It actually is. It goes hand in hand with my iPhone, so I hope this isn't cheating, but because I live on my phone, I mean, everything happens on my phone. I use the battery really, 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 really fast. And so I have discovered this. It's called the Anchor. And I know you have one too, Nathaniel, the Anchor.
I do. On your recommendation.
Yeah. Charger. It's a portable iPhone charger, and it charges when the Anchor is, and it's ANKER. When it's charged fully. Yeah, it is. Okay. Yep.
It is.
When it's charged fully, it can charge my iPhone like 7 times. And that is so incredibly helpful. It's like having insurance, like having a safety net for my iPhone, because I can go ahead and use it as much as I want, even if I don't have access to an outlet. When I was when I was trekking in Patagonia just like 2 months ago, we didn't even have electricity every day. And it didn't matter. And my phone is my only camera. And it didn't matter because I was fully charged the whole time. I didn't have to worry about it. And so for me, absolutely, the power to keep my iPhone alive is my go-to gadget.
Love it. Yeah, that thing's amazing. I would highly recommend checking it out. It charges fast, too. That's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come right back to that. Let's take a moment now to thank our wonderful show sponsors. Osprey is the market leader in technical outdoor, travel, and everyday packs. And I've personally used Osprey packs since 2015. My favorites are the Fairview Trek 50 for multi-day hikes, the Cirrus 24 for day hikes, the Transporter Rolling Duffel 60, which is my trusty check luggage for faraway adventures, and of course, the countless packing cubes I use to organize everything that goes in them. We are proud to support each other on the podcast and beyond. We love getting outside, and we want to see more people outdoors. So find out more and join us at osprey.com.
This was one of my questions, actually. So I will answer right now. And I got to go with my Kindle. The Kindle is so awesome. I mean, I don't know how many books I got, but the fact that you can just carry books from every genre, like 50, 100 books, whatever's on there, and just read whatever you want, whenever you want. I'm a little bit obsessed with it, and I read a ton especially when I'm traveling. So going with the Kindle all the way.
Lighter and more durable than the iPad, too.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay, do you have the Kindle Paperwhite, the one with the backlight, or do you have the regular original?
You got to have the Paperwhite. Got to have the Paperwhite. Reading in bed and all that.
That was my
your
call.
answer?
Yeah, last year. Well, no, but last year I told my wife to get me a Kindle for Christmas. I'm like, just give me the cheapest original one. That's what I want. And she got that. And then said, wait, this doesn't have a backlight. She's like, yeah, that's the Paperwhite. So I had to have her get me a second one, which had the backlight. So get the Paperwhite the first time, and then you won't be stuck with 2 Kindles. I've got 3 answers. I'm not going to ask permission to give all 3 of these. I'm just going to do it. Number 1 is a dry, quick travel towel. So pack towel, without the E in towel, is the one that I've used a bunch, and that's the one that I love. So having like a travel towel, I think is a necessity if you're packing light, because who can actually pack a regular size towel in their pack if they're only bringing carry-ons or something like that? About a tenth the size of a regular towel, they dry like 10 times quicker. I'm making those numbers up, but it's close to that. The other thing would be headphone splitters. And I think this is the best bang for your buck that you can get, because they're $1.99 on Amazon, or you could pick them up at, I guess, an electronics store. But if you're ever with another person, if you're traveling with someone else, or even if you just meet someone on the road, having a pair of headphone splitters means that, you can both plug into a computer or whatever, or if you're watching videos on an iPhone or whatever, and you can both have your own set of headphones. So you don't have to do that little left ear, right ear, then you're pulling the headphone out of the other person's ear when you move. That gets old really quick.
I still do that. I love this idea.
So the headphone splitter is big, and then my absolute favorite thing that I always bring with me is a moleskin notebook, like one of the little pocket-sized notebooks, because I love going around and writing down. You know, if I'm at a restaurant, I want to recommend it to people later, writing down kind of notes or jotting down ideas, and I just prefer to do it on paper, like have a pen and paper, versus doing it on my iPhone, because it just, I don't know, something about sitting at a cafe or sitting at a restaurant and writing it down and kind of writing my thoughts out versus pulling out my phone and typing it out that I love. So
completely,
I carry them with me everywhere.
Good answer.
Those
Of those three, I have the pack towel and the moleskin notebook with me, and I think the headphone splitters are revolutionary. So we'll see what happens there.
That's going to happen. She's going to go to Amazon after this. All right, I'll go. I've got, you know, I made a little list while you guys were going. I'm going to be really quick. The obvious one, I think, is a power adapter. I'm not even going to talk about it. You need to be able to plug your stuff in. And I would take that over anything else I'm about to say. But that said, I'll throw that out the window because it's kind of boring. Packing cubes, I swear by them. So I started doing my podcast. I started interviewing people and asking them about their travel gear. And packing cubes kept coming up over and over again. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll get packing cubes. I'll check it out. And now I cannot have stuff loose in my bag. Like everything in my bag is now compartmentalized within the bag. And that makes it so much easier to pack, to unpack, it's just super systematic. To be able to take all your shirts out with one hand, put it down, put it aside, and then dig in and take all your pants out and then pull one pair of pants out, zip it back up. It's so easy. It's amazing. So it made a crazy huge difference. A couple other things that I think are really great are a hoodie. A hoodie, I think, is it's like a sleep mask. It'll cover your ears. It's kind of a pillow if you want to fold it up. It's most valuably you can just put your hood up if you're walking around, and people are much less likely to hassle you if you're in a place where you're getting hassled. I was in Istanbul walking down Ishtikal. Every other person was like, hey, are you American? Hey, it's opening lines for scams. Not kidding. And put one up and everyone just stopped talking to me. So I think there's a lot of value in hoodies.
That's probably why.
Yeah, it's scared
to me. Like, look at that gangster. He's from Boston.
And then, one last thing would be a guitar. If you can travel with a guitar around, that breaks the ice like nothing I've ever experienced between other travelers, locals, whether you're sitting at a train station in the middle of nowhere in China with other backpackers and you're just sitting around singing songs, or you're in Bali and you get invited back to people's houses because they want to play your guitar. It's amazing how easily friendships can be made over music. I think that's cool.
I've always seen
I didn't know we get to list multiple gadgets.
I didn't either. I missed the memo on that too. I know.
Hey,
I just want to be sure we were
to go with. Yeah.
If I could,
that's interesting.
I'm gonna.
Meanwhile, I'm freezing my ass off with my Kindle with no hoodie.
I know, right?
No headphone splitter.
All I have is an
convenience
iPhone. I'm gonna add a scarf, and it could be because I'm female, but I actually got a huge scarf that's like, it's everything. I can wear it over my face if I'm sleeping. It's huge, so it's really actually warm. It's like a shawl. I've used it as a pillowcase, as a pillow, a warmth layer, as, I can't imagine not having it now. Even though it's one of the bigger things that I have packed with me in my carry-on for a year, it's huge and it's absolutely worth it.
Nice. Yeah, it's like the woman's version of a hoodie, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Although I always have a hoodie as well for the same reasons.
Quick question to everyone. Yes or no? Do you pack those silk, like bed liner sheet things? Obviously I don't, because I don't know what they're called, but do you know what I'm talking about?
They're called sleep sheets. And no, I have a cotton one. I used to, but sorry, that wasn't a yes or no answer. No.
Yeah, no.
It depends on if camping or going to like colder climates, then yes, maybe.
However, can I add something to that? If I were going on a specific like 2-week or something shorter trip, because mine it's cotton, it's kind of bigger, and I was only going to be staying in hostels, I would bring it. And if I was solo traveling, I would bring it.
Okay. Good. Yeah, that wasn't my real question. I just I've never packed them, but some people have sworn by them, just like packing cubes like Nathaniel was talking about. And I didn't use packing cubes before, and now I do. So I was wondering if that was one of the things that people say, yeah, you should get this. And then if you do, you end up loving it. So just wanted your guys' opinions on that because I've never used them. But my real question for everyone here, and I love this question. I can't wait to hear your answers. What's the one place that everyone has told you you'll love, but when you went there, you didn't? Because really everyone wants to ask the question, what's your favorite place? I get that. You know, we all have favorites, and we kind of touched on that if we could be transported one place right now. But there's, you know, traveling is about the ups and downs, and you can't really love a place without having a flip side of a place where you didn't love as much as you thought you would. So I get this question a lot from people, like, is it okay if I don't love this place? My buddy actually called me on his honeymoon that I booked for him down in Argentina. He's like, is it okay if I don't like Cordoba? Like, everyone says I should love it. Am I doing something wrong is what he asked me. And I said, no, man, you're going to find places the more you travel that you don't love as much as you thought. And that's okay because that makes the places you love even more special. So what is that place for you guys? And if no one has one, I can go, but I want to hear your answers.
Oh, we all have them. That's for sure. I have two.
What's yours, Jackie?
I'll go with the one you guys aren't anticipating first. And this is interesting. And I have to say first, one of my questions for you guys was going to be, what is the place you liked the least that made you grow the most? And it's the same answer. So maybe think about that too, because I still want to know. But anyway, my first place that I was going to say is Baja, California, in Mexico, because the first time that I went there, and this has already come full circle, so I'll bring that around. But the first time that I went there, I really was disappointed with how un-Mexico it was and how 50s California it was. And I mean, while that's kind of a romantic idea and it's cool, it's full of gringos, and that's just not what I wanted from Mexico. And Cabo especially was full of just resorts and overpriced food. And I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, this is not what I came here for. And so I really didn't like it. And then I ended up going back the next year and I had an absolute blast. So, I mean, it's basically like how you do it, how you travel really matters. Who you travel with really matters. What you're doing, seeking out the things that you love to do, where you go, I think is really important, because that's when I'm always having the most fun, is when I'm, you know, doing some sport or, you know, something active that's very exciting for me. And so now I just have to say as a disclaimer, I love Baja, but that was the first one. The second one was Thailand. You can read about that on my blog.
Well, you explain it for like a second. That's a good teaser for your blog, though. Maybe we should just leave it at that.
Well, I can explain it. I'm happy to, but I'm over my limit of time of answering. So, okay, fine.
Give us a 30-second why you don't like Thailand.
Okay.
Up in a bow.
Well, okay. First of all, I don't dislike Thailand. I really don't. It's a beautiful place, and I've experienced amazing, amazing times there. And I appreciate it very much. But again, I'm going to say it depends on what you're doing. It depends on whether your bank account agrees with your with your choice of lodging. You know, there are a lot of things, and generally, on this last trip, I just got to a point of cultural exhaustion there. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I didn't, you know, I get really frustrated as a linguist when I cannot speak the language. There are just a lot of things, but it also depends on, you know, where I am in my life right now, a lot of personal things that are going on. And I just couldn't handle it. And I said, you know what, I got to get out of here. And that's what made me come to Italy. So, I mean, it all kind of ties together, and it all matters, you know, what kind of travel you're doing and where you are personally. I mean, there are a lot of things that go into liking a destination, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's like everything you mentioned. I mean, obviously the people, the experience you have, the activities you're doing, your state of mind, like where you are in your life. I mean, all of these things can sort of play into like loving a place. So I'm going to take this question as just the place and not all of those other things, because I had a great time when I visited. I met awesome people. It was fun. I ate delicious food, but just as the destination, I wasn't obsessed with Vietnam like many people are. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I spent a good amount of time there, and had a great time. Like I said, I mean, it was an awesome experience, but it's not a place I feel like I have to go back to like many other places that I've visited.
Fair.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's fair. My answer is I like went silent and really I looked at a map and I'm like, where? Because so many places, it's like I can find something to appreciate and something to enjoy, right? And I'm sure we all agree with that. It's like even when you find yourself somewhere where you're kind of miserable, you can find some degree of enjoyment. Right. So I was trying to think of like what are the things that I really don't like, and what I don't like are touristy areas, right? So the first place that came to mind was Cancun, but I didn't anticipate liking Cancun. And as it turns out, I actually like the areas around Cancun a lot. Like I like Tulum, which is just an hour and a half south, right on the coast. So I would go back there and I would drive down to Tulum and I'd enjoy the coast there, the Riviera. But I think my answer is Las Vegas. It's almost a funny answer for me because I think so. I was looking at the map and I was like in New Zealand and Southeast Asia and trying to find the place. And there's some things in China I didn't love, but I really, you know what? I thought I was going to love Las Vegas. I thought it was going to be a lot of fun. I've been twice. Yeah, I don't love it. I really don't enjoy gambling. I'm not a big fan of that. And it's loud and it's flashy and it's kind of gross and there's good food. And I actually really had a lot of fun in like the old part of Las Vegas, which is coming up. And there's like, craft cocktail bars and really great pizza shops and kind of a normal city nightlife, but hitting the Strip, I don't need to ever do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, because I actually didn't think I'd have a good time in Las Vegas the first time I went. I was like, I don't ever need to go to Las Vegas. I don't want to have to gamble a lot. And I went and I had a blast. But I think, again, this is goes back to the people you're with. And, it was like 3 days and it was 2 other couples. And we just had a really, really fantastic time. We gambled for probably 15 minutes in 3 days. But we went to shows and we did all that. So that was interesting because that was a place where I went in with really low expectations, just like you did with Cancun. I was pleasantly surprised. That being said, I've gone back a second time and it wasn't near as fun as the first time. So I think there's a lot to be said for it being the people that you're with. I have an answer that is kind of similar to yours, Nathaniel, in that there's one place that I didn't think I would like and I really, really hated even more than I thought. That was Mumbai. I hate the city. I will never have to. I hope I never have to go back to Mumbai ever again. Once I got out of there, the rest of India there was a lot of awesome stuff that I saw. But the place that I really had super high expectations for, and this was my first backpacking trip, first time in Southeast Asia, and everyone said, you have to go to Penang, Malaysia. Like, you have to. It's awesome. You're going to love it. It's perfect. Amazing food. What a cool little, they were saying like a colonial little downtown. And so I had this quaint picture of this like colonial little downtown, exactly what people said. Instead, it was like buildings were falling down, and there was like some big buildings, and those were falling down, and some small buildings, and those were falling down. And there was one building, the government building, that sat kind of out on the right on the water. That was beautiful because the only one that had been restored. And I thought, okay, like this is one nice building in a city of really a lot of crappy buildings. So I don't know what people were talking about. So yeah, I went, and it was the end of like an 18-day backpacking trip. It was the first one we had ever been on. It rained for 3 days straight. They were supposed to have an awesome New Year's thing, and it was like a few fireworks, and that was it. And I just remember, now the food was fantastic. I will say that. It was amazing food, but that was one place that I want to go back to, because whenever I tell people that, they're like, I can't believe you didn't love Penang. Like, everyone loves it. Mm-hmm. And I did. So that's my place that I definitely did not live up to the preset expectations that I had.
This is a loaded question because expectation, because your response to the stimuli that you find in any of these places is completely related. It's tied like inextricably to the expectation that's been set for you. So either you had high hopes, everyone's raising the bar too high, everyone's talking it up, or in a lot of cases, maybe in like Vegas for you, Travis, you didn't think it was going to be great, and then you had a blast. I mean, I didn't, to be honest, when I went to Philadelphia, I didn't expect to have as much fun as I did. And everyone's like, you like Philadelphia? And I'm like, I had so much fun when I was there. So I have like,
what do you mean? Everybody
really
was like, do you like Philadelphia? Come on.
Yes. I was hoping you.
Travis and I are both from Philly. So.
And let's be fair. I know exactly what he's I know exactly what he's talking about. Everyone says that to me. They're like, "Oh, you live in Philadelphia." I was pleasantly surprised by Philadelphia. Everyone said I'd hate it. I'm like, I hear that anytime I say I'm from Philadelphia. Either that or people say Rocky or Adrian, and they start acting like Rocky.
I heard it was like
one of the
quaint colonial town.
Oh man, yeah, parts of it. The 3 blocks that you won't get mugged in are very quaint and colonial. I love Philadelphia. All right.
Okay, who's up for a question? Who just asked?
I asked, so you're up, Jackie.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. That took up one of my questions. So how about this? Since we are all podcasters, since we are all sort of digital nomads at times, even if we have home bases, I want to know, what do you look for in an office on the road? Like, where is your favorite place to set up shop on the road?
Well, most obvious answer to that for all of us is strong Wi-Fi, right?
That's nice when that happens. Yeah. Actually, sometimes you sit down with a coffee before you realize the Wi-Fi won't work. That's why I've resorted to going to bars.
That's the worst. That is the worst.
Do bars have stronger Wi-Fi? Is that what you just meant?
No, but if you're left without Wi-Fi, at least you have a beer.
Like that. Yeah.
Life lesson.
You can salt away the Wi-Fi pains over a beer or drink. Yeah, I like that. All right. Wi-Fi. And another one for me is that I don't know how to put this, but I not that it has to be quiet, because I don't want to be somewhere that's like a well, I do love libraries, so I won't say that, but I don't want to be in a cafe that seems like I don't want to be in a cafe that seems like a library. I want there to be some action going around. I don't want it to be super busy to the point where you feel like you can't sit there and actually spend time and do work. I hate the feeling of, all right, I'm at this table, I'm doing work, but there's so many people around that I should get up because I'm done. I don't drink coffee, but I'm done drinking my hot chocolate or chai tea, or I'm done eating whatever I had eaten. And I hate that feeling that you have to rush out, because if you're sitting down and you want to get some work done, as we all know, it takes some time to get into that mode. You have to check Facebook like 18 times before you can even start writing. Yeah. So, I mean, to get through those 18 Facebook checking times, it's like, you're already half an hour in and you're probably eating 2 meals. So I need some place that I can feel comfortable, and have enough space that I don't feel like I'm being rushed out, or that people are looking at me like, why is he still here 2 hours later? Agree.
Because it does take a long time sometimes. Yeah.
For me, I can't do this is a personal answer, I think, for all of us. I cannot do a library. I cannot do anything really quiet. I have a weird personality trait, which is that I tend to sort of do the opposite of what everyone else around me is doing. I just have this inclination to be contrarian sometimes. And at an airport, for example, I think a lot of people are maybe stressed out or rushing to their gates. I find airports, for that reason, to be extremely relaxing. And that's totally weird. But that applies here, because I cannot be in a quiet environment and sit and focus. I need there to be some degree of kinetic energy and motion around me that I can sit in the center of, and it can move around me, and I can be the focused sort of balance or alternative. I don't know why that is. It's just me. So I love sitting in coffee shops, out in public. I write really well on buses. So for me, it's there needs to be an element of motion, and there needs to be some kind of white noise, which I have found cafes do perfectly. Sort of that hum and the clinks and the baristas working on the machines. And for me, I get in the zone with noise, as opposed to a lot of people like to use music, I think, to focus. For me, I need there to be a lot going on around me. And for whatever reason, that helps me focus. I guess I don't entirely understand it.
I'm with you, Nathaniel. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better, really. There's something about the ambient clanging of things. I don't know what it is, but this is talking, things banging around, where you might, occasionally the barista goes a little crazy. I'm like, dude, what are you doing over there? Are you making coffee for an army? That's over the top. But generally speaking, yeah, I'm a cafe guy, because we're not talking about countries specifically. We're just talking about work environments, right? That was the original question, Jackie. So yeah, I'm with you. There's actually an app called Coffeetivity that replicates the sounds of a coffee shop. Now, I haven't gone that far with it yet to like download this app and try it out because I prefer the authentic experience as much as possible. But I could see getting desperate someday and like trying that out because, again, the ambient noise just dials me in. I don't know what it is. And like Travis and I have talked about this as well because we work together quite often. And it's something about the triggers you set up for yourself when you're traveling all the time because it's like the place is always changing, but there can be some consistency with what you do. So whether it's like putting in my headphones dials me in to another level. I don't know why. Like sometimes I even forget to put on the music and I just have the headphones on and I'll be working for an hour. I'm like, oh, I never even turned music on, but like the headphones touch my ear.
Dude, me too. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
That's so weird.
I think I do that more often than actually turning music on. I don't even realize it, but then someone will talk to me and I'm like, why can I hear him so well? Oh, I haven't turned any music on.
Then you can get finicky with music, right? Because you're like, I can't have too many words and I can't know the song too well. Depends on the task you're doing, I think. But coffee shops all the way.
I love the comment about, because as we don't have routine if we're doing something different every day and on the road. And so I love the comment about finding something consistent. That's kind of brilliant. I love that. And I guess I'm going to go back to what I was saying at the beginning. For me, I can work in both, like quiet, like sometimes I'll sit at the house quiet with my earphones in without music on accident and just like get work done. It's amazing. And other times when I find I need to focus, my go-to is beer. It is. Like, honestly, I call it focus beer. Like I will go have a focus beer because
you're my kind of girl.
Thanks.
Focus
beer. A focus beer. There's an emoji for it even.
That's amazing.
No, it's great because, it just kind of, I guess, helps me relax, and whatever it does, it makes me focus and I can just start working. It's great. So I like bars that do that.
I like the reframing tactic there. I'm going to have a focus beer, please.
Yeah.
It's
Focus beer. It's a
sir,
thing.
This is like 80 ounces of double IPA. That's okay. It's my focus beer. Thank you very much.
That's what I was about to say, is that the beers I drink are so high alcohol that like an imperial stout is just going to, I'm good for about 10 minutes before it's time to sit back.
What about a focused beer tower? Has anyone ever done that?
That's for like writing a novel or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Not just for myself, but I will say that I have had some really great work conversations around a beer tower before. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe before I ask this question, I should go get my focus bottle of bourbon.
I know.
Out. But,
focus beer break.
This one's a quickie, and I want to ask you, what's the strangest thing you ever ate when you were traveling?
Oh gosh. Okay. I know Nathaniel is going to get on me for this one because he completely disagrees, but I recently just tried sea urchin for the first time, and oh my gosh. I actually was snapping it while I did it, and the reaction's hilarious. But in my defense, I didn't know even how to eat sea urchin, and it was given to me raw, which I guess is normal. I don't know. And it was a huge piece. Like, it was a mouthful. It wasn't just a taste. And I couldn't handle it. It was just, I almost threw up in the middle of the market in Chile. Like, whoa.
So the thing is, the reason why I disagree and why she said that is, Jackie, I totally understand where you're coming from. When I first had it, I hated it, and I think I had bad sea urchin at like a bad sushi restaurant, something like that. But when I had it fresh, and then I started to like get into it, I honestly think sea urchin is one of the world's best things. Like, it is like mind-blowingly delicious. Put it on everything, spread it on toast.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy, but you know what, you're normal. Like, that's what everybody says. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if I can even give it another shot at this point. Whoa. But okay, that's mine.
Peanut butter and sea urchin sandwiches, anyone?
Ew.
Well, as long as you have the focus beer to wash it down, then anything will taste all right.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell the sea urchin from the peanut butter once you got them all integrated.
Ew. Okay, let's move on. Who's next?
So, if by traveling, because the question was, what's the weirdest thing you've had while traveling? If by traveling you mean like 10 minutes down the road from where I am right now, I would say the fried deer testicles that my dad likes to make up after he shoots a deer. They're pretty gross.
That works.
They taste exactly like you would imagine them tasting, which is not good. So that's kind of weird that the strangest thing I've ever eaten was actually at the home that I grew up in. But one of the things that I really hate, and this isn't that odd, I guess, because so many people love it in Japan, but it is absolutely foul. And you either love it or you hate it. And whenever I asked the question to my students when I was teaching English in Japan, they would laugh hysterically, and because they thought it was so weird that a white person was asking them this. But it's natto. I don't know if anyone's ever had natto. Has anyone had that?
What is it?
No.
It's like the fermented soybean. It's like a paste almost, but it's really stringy. So if you dip your chopstick in and you try to eat it, it's like really stringy cheese is what it kind of looks like, but it smells really bad, and it's made from fermented soybeans, and you can't eat it without sticking to the roof of your mouth. So everyone's always doing that like clucking sound as they're eating it. Okay. It smells awful. People are making crazy noises while eating it. And it's probably the worst thing that I've ever put into my mouth as far as just the taste is disgusting. So I hate it. And most gaijin, white people, foreigners hate it as well. But it's some Japanese people love it, and they'll eat it for every meal. Every lunchtime they'll usually eat it. So natto, if you go to Japan, you have to try it, but be prepared to gag. Or if you really like it, then you found a really cheap new favorite food. So, but there's no in between. There's definitely no in between for this stuff.
That sounds like durian.
Durian.
Yes.
Yeah. Durian. I like durian, but am I the only one who likes durian?
I do not like durian.
Yes, I guess I am. I almost like everything. You know what I mean? Like even the weird foods that I've had, there's certain things I don't like. Pickled fish. I'm okay not having pickled fish, and some of my Polish heritage keeps bringing that back every Christmas. I'm okay without that. Recently had, I don't think insects are really that weird, but just had grasshoppers. And the only reason I really felt it to be weird was because they were so big. And Jackie, you were there. And they were huge.
We have a video of this. We should share it.
They were as big as your finger. I mean, they were massive. I've had silkworm cocoons, grilled and salted. That was kind of weird. I'm gonna go with something that was not anywhere exotic. This was in New York, and it was a pig's eyeball. That was probably officially the weirdest thing I've ever eaten. Was a roasted eyeball.
Ugh. Was it good?
You get a whole pig, and they take the. Well, it's funny because I was at this restaurant called the Breslin, which is at the Ace Hotel. Really good restaurant. I highly recommend it. The lamb burger there is killer. They bring out, I was there, I think it was a bachelor party or something, but they brought out a whole suckling pig roast, right? And they put the whole thing down, and it's an entire baby pig, which is sad. Anyways, then they take the head, they basically cut the head off and then carry the head away and carve it up and bring it back. And one of the things that you can have are the eyeballs, which are there roasted with all of the tendrils. So it's not just an eyeball. It's covered in the muscle. You know what, Jason? It was delicious. Not gonna lie, it was delicious.
So I mean, what do you fit into it? Was it like that chewing gum that has the inner gel where it just squirts in your mouth?
Oh my gosh!
So there was a thick hard layer of roasted meat around it, which made it easier. But then there was some aspect of I don't know,
of
tender
it being an
jelly
eyeball.
Moisture. Yeah, of it being an eyeball. Yeah.
Gelatinous.
It's not really fun to think about.
We should probably preface this with a warning. We should go back and warn people not to listen to this over lunch. My goodness.
Sorry.
Jay?
No problem. I asked the question.
Jackie will be right back.
Sorry.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to say, but human.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. Come on. I just wanted to see how long the silence would last.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I was just watching Walking Dead last night.
Thankfully. I would say the sort of, I don't know how weird it is because it's not that weird in that part of the country, but getting a bag of fried crickets and eating the insects, in Thailand is a strange experience because you come up and they have all these different fried bugs. And yeah, we were doing this this trek, and I was like with this group of, adventure travelers, I guess, because we were trekking to the jungle. So it was like a group thing. And I was like, hey, I'm going to buy this bag and everybody try one. It'll be fun. And nobody wanted to try one. So it was just me eating crickets by myself. It was really sad. Which is why I don't like to do group things. But I also didn't know how to navigate through the jungle for days on end. So that was something I needed to there. And let's see. The other thing that I would say is totally disgusting is right here in Norway, something called rock fisk, which is it's a trout that is salted and then fermented for like 2 or 3 months. And some say even up to a year. Oof. And then it's eaten with, like, you don't cook it, you just eat it. And this is a whole story, but I'll give you the abbreviated version. I went to have lunch with at somebody's home in Norway who was a friend of the family of the woman I'm married to, Anna Dorta. And I guess she needed to approve of me in her own way. But she served this lunch, and it was like rock fisk with coffee. It was like, imagine fermented raw fish, like some other fishes and meats with coffee. It was disgusting. Coffee and milk.
So coffee on the side.
Yeah, like my
beverage. You can't wash anything down.
Oh,
yeah. My beverage choices were coffee and milk. So anyway, needless to say, I powered my way through the meal and now got the approval. But yeah, it was gross.
And now you're married. All I do is eat some fermented raw fish and coffee, dude. That doesn't sound too bad. It's not like a dowry or anything like that.
I survived.
All right, that was a good one.
All right.
Let's do one more question.
Last question. Nathaniel, it's all yours. Take us home.
Wow. All right, here is my last question. We're all like, quote unquote, professional travelers. We love traveling. We do it as much as we can. We do it as often as we can. How do you guys feel about flying?
Ooh. My stomach just did a flip, if that means anything.
Yeah.
I don't love flying.
You do it.
Quick answer. I also do not like flying at all. This could be very weird.
Oh my gosh.
I used to get really sick as a kid, like motion sickness, and so I would throw up on the planes every time I would fly. Probably up until I was 29. No, just kidding. But basically up until I was like 13 or 12 or 13, and then I still didn't like it. Now I'm okay with it. Like, I can deal with it, but I certainly don't I don't like airports like you, Nathaniel. I hate that whole feel of getting there and like getting rushed around and things like that. I hate when you get on the plane and you have like the cabin pressure and it just feels odd. And I don't enjoy it at all. For me, it's like a means to an end, which is traveling. So I've gotten better, but I would prefer other modes of transportation if given the option. And sometimes there isn't the other option, obviously. But
I've been trying to use the experience of going to the airport, going through the security and all that stuff. I keep thinking in my head, oh, this is character building, Jason. This is a character building exercise because the freaking security. I don't know what they can't figure out. At least in the States. Like, they know how many people are coming. They know it happens every day. I don't understand why they can't figure it out. I mean, I was just in Newark Airport flying to Norway, and we were waiting in the security line for, I think it was like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half. It was like, it was mind blowing to me. And it's like that, like, just that whole, like, you're hot and you're like carrying all this crap around, and that whole process is annoying. So actually, when I get on the plane, it's a little bit of a relief for me. I'm like, I'm on the plane, especially like international flights when they have the back of the seat thing and you can binge watch movies. And I got very lucky on this flight over because all 4 seats next to me were empty. So I got to like lay down and read. And I was like, this is awesome. So it doesn't bother me too much when I'm on the plane, but it's the process of like getting to that point that is pretty irritating and character building.
That's a good way to put it.
I used to find flights to be really relaxing, like as a kid, but I didn't care and I didn't think and I didn't have the fear in my head. Nowadays, yeah, I have a fear of flight and never let it stop me. Right, like every time I get on a plane, I'm facing that fear. I always say my favorite flight was the one that I jumped out of, skydiving.
Oh God. Oh my gosh.
standing on the edge of Victoria Falls during kind of the drier season when you can do that, and looking down made me very aware of a fear of heights. It's not like a drastic I panic or whatever, but I still have this like palpable sensation of what it felt like to be there, and the sort of sudden terror that I felt that I sat down. And it's funny, it's like in planes, I love looking out the window and I love the view, and I always take a window seat. But there is something about heights, and then there's obviously something about just planes. And I think I'll say it. I think a plane crash would be a horrible way to go.
Oh
and
gosh.
That terrifies me. It just absolutely terrifies me. But I face that every time I go, because obviously statistically, thousands of planes are flying and landing safely every day. The odds of anything happening are minute at best. And I think it's important to keep a perspective on that. It's funny how irrational fear can be.
Yeah. I want to second everything you just said, just because I feel that exact same thing. And it's funny as travelers that we can be so fearful of flying. And that seems to confuse some people, but it's just a real thing. We face it anyway because we love to travel. But I have had a huge fear of flying for a long time. And I actually have a post on my blog about this because there are things that I have learned. I'm going to share these, for the benefit of the listeners listening to this who can commiserate with us on this one. But there are some things that I've learned over the years that help me when I'm on those flights, because I hate turbulence. First of all, it is absolutely worth every $7 of a glass of wine to get one if there's turbulence.
Focus wine.
Focus wine. There you go. Wine works faster than beer, which is why I opt for wine on the plane. Just so you know. Also, avoiding stressful movies or music. Dude, one time I was trying to watch this. It was like a zombie movie. I think it was World War Z. No, thank you. I had to turn it off because I was freaking out. Because it's like, I actually turned on Monsters University to watch a cartoon during turbulence because it made me feel better. The other thing I do is I look at the people around me, because most people aren't afraid of flying. And so in bad turbulence, people are just chilling, laughing, talking. I'm like, that makes me calm down. It makes me feel so much better. I think the number one thing that I have done to help this is I have a friend who's a pilot, and I just made him tell me why I shouldn't be scared of flying. And he kind of just broke down everything for me. And he was laughing at my fear of flying, which made me feel better. It's why are you afraid of flying? Nothing's going to happen to you, blah, blah, blah. This is what happens. Okay. So that makes me feel a lot better. And recently I just did a high ropes course in Ecuador. And, whoa, I did it because I'm afraid of heights, and I was terrified. By the time I got to the end, I was cruising. I highly recommend that for people who are afraid of heights, same thing. But yeah, that's a big one. Good question.
That's great. That's great advice. I think we all have to give ourselves a pat on the back then, right? Here we are, like professional travelers, all saying we're scared of flying, except Jason, you weren't really scared, but all three of us, man, flying despite the fact that we don't really. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, there has to be one tough guy in every group, right? So that's awesome, guys. Great question, Nathaniel. And I think that, we answered 8, supposedly rapid fire questions. Yeah. I think it's time that we all treat ourselves to a focus beer.
I agree.
Good call.
It's 10:30 where Travis and I are in the morning.
Oh yeah.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's actually almost 5 o'clock here. So there you go.
Yeah, Jackie and I are in the same time zone, so we'll pull one back for you guys.
Oh, well, no one said me and Nathaniel weren't having one, man.
Merely making an observation.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's 10:35. That's awesome. Almost 11.
It's practically 11.
All right. Well, guys, great time.
Cool. Yeah, that was good.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
All right. I really hope that was as fun for you guys to listen to as it was for us to record, because we had a ball doing that. Don't forget that all the show notes, all the notes from this episode are at thebudgetmindedtraveler.com/61. And those voices were Jason from Zero to Travel Podcast, Travis from Extra Pack of Peanuts Podcast, and Nathaniel from the Travelers Podcast. And this same roundtable interview can be found on all of their shows as well. And stay tuned for the next episode because we're tackling one topic that I chose that I think will be relevant for you guys specifically. So until then, thank you for listening and have a great day.
Good. Wow, that went well, huh? Better than
that was
we
fun.
expected. I don't think
really
we
fun.
talked over each other too much, huh?
No.
That was a miracle.
Happened, but,
A legitimate Christmas miracle, folks.